Good morning. So nice to have you join us today for 3+U. We always hope that your day is off to a great start. This is Nicole Pajorko. She is a dietitian with Food City, and I thought it was so fun when I remember that you were coming today. Your topic is how to have a fitness nutrition.
Fuel for exercise.
Fuel for exercise, but I found out that today is National Eat Your Vegetables Day.
How appropriate. I should have done more fruits and vegetables. I didn't know that myself.
Well, I think it might be
taught me
appealing
something.
to a lot of people out there to realize that while you do want to eat your vegetables, when you're talking exercise, I guess,
Yes,
carbs are going to be a big part of it.
Absolutely, you're so right. And I think in the warmer months, heading into summer, it's a lot easier for people to kind of incorporate activity into their summer plans, whereas the winter it's kind of people feel a little bit more sluggish, retreat to indoors. And so while we are becoming more active during those warmer months, we really want to focus on how to fuel our fitness.
I love that your first topic is on hydrating yourself and the water. You didn't just bring water though, you've got some flavors.
We've got a few different flavored options. So of course, hydration is going to be key, whether you are training for a marathon during peak season or you're hitting the weights in the gym, or maybe you're just,
cutting the grass.
Yeah, cutting the grass, exactly. Hydration is going to be key, especially in those warmer months. And so we want to think about before participating in exercise, because hydration, of course, we tend to be dehydrated before we feel that thirst. And so 16 to 20 ounces of water. Water is going to be the key a few hours before exercise, and then every 10 to 20 minutes or so we want to make sure that we are sipping on that fluid throughout the activity.
While you're working out?
While you're working out, absolutely, because again, we don't necessarily feel as thirsty as dehydrated as we are. So water is going to be key. That can be seltzer water, absolutely, as long as it doesn't cause any gastrointestinal distress, but water should be sufficient for most. Electrolytes are another key considerations, especially in really hot environments where we are sweating a lot, or maybe you're exercising for a longer duration. And so a lot of people tend to rely on sports drinks. Those are totally fine. They have a little bit more of sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, which we lose through sweat. But I love doing coconut water. You can add a little bit of salt. So coconut water naturally has a lot of those electrolytes.
Okay, so then is it true that there's kind of the pre-workout, like you mentioned, drinking that water before?
Yes.
But then after you've worked out, you mentioned what you've expended from your body, so do you need to then add things back in?
For fuel, absolutely, and recovery. So we think about our kind of muscles, and glycogen or carbohydrates tend to be our body's preferred fuel source. So carbohydrates break down into glucose. Glucose is stored as glycogen, and our body taps into those glycogen stores, especially for high intensity exercises like running or sprinting or kind of anaerobic stuff. And so that's going to be from your whole grains, which are going to contain fiber, but it comes from more simple carbohydrates. So think graham crackers, pasta, white pasta included, and bananas can be some great sources.
Okay, you've had a lot of people scoot to the front of their chair when you said you can have a graham cracker.
Absolutely. And so, of course, this isn't something that I recommend as part of your kind of everyday, but before exercise, you really want those simple carbohydrates that your body can use very quickly for quick bursts of energy.
Okay, so these are things to consume before you work out, not after.
Well, after as well, because we want to make sure that we're replenishing those glycogen stores. I actually love, as a post-workout drink, some chocolate milk, because it actually has an ideal ratio of carbohydrates to protein. Just normal chocolate milk, actually the Fairlife has a little bit more protein. So if you're hitting the weights, you want to make sure that you're staying on top of the protein to help rebuild those muscle fibers.
Okay, so is this where you're talking about like natural sugars versus artificial sugars? Because, I mean, obviously there's artificial sugar, I guess, in chocolate milk.
Sure. So you have a little bit of both. Lactose is a sugar that's naturally containing in milk, but of course with chocolate milk, they're adding a little bit more to that. And so we don't want to consume too many added sugars, but there's a little bit of room in a kind of well-balanced eating plan, as long as you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables on top of that. And again, if you're somebody who is more highly active, then this can still be a great option for recovery.
Okay, I like what you've chosen to bring, I think what you've chosen to bring for your protein part of the conversation, because it's not just meat.
Yeah, no, it's not just meat. So we have a good variety of options. And again, when we were talking about electrolytes, Dairy products are going to be a really good source of calcium. They have a little bit of phosphorus and potassium in them too. So cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, even sweetened Greek yogurt, this one can be a really good source of protein. I also have some tuna pouches because of course we need those omega-3s. We should get seafood, and this is a convenient way to get those in. And then plant-based proteins like nuts and nut butters are also going to be a great option. So we've got some good snack options here. And then I love these as a pre-workout snack, energy balls that are made with oats, natural peanut butter, we've got a little bit of honey, and then you can kind of throw in whatever flavor enhancers you like. It could be chocolate chips, we've got some dried cherries, coconut, chia seeds.
That looks yummy. I love too on these tuna packets here that it's not just plain tuna. These are seasoned.
Yes, they're flavored. Yes, yeah. So there's kind of a variety. You can mix and match, add them to salads, put them on a sandwich, or just eat it as is. I love that as a great recovery option.
I made a salad the other day because I do like tuna, but I realized once I put that mayonnaise in, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot a little bit sometimes.
Sure.
But I did it, and I just put some seasonings on there and a little light lemon kind of salad dressing thing, and it was yummy.
That's what I do. I do a little bit of mayonnaise, but you can also add Greek yogurt as a swap. So maybe doing half and half to cut down on some of that fat, adding the lemon juice, or maybe stirring with some olive oil instead.
And one more thing before we run, on the carb side, we didn't talk about the pasta. People have begun talking a lot lately about how you really should eat pastas as long as they're healthy ones.
Sure. Yeah, so of course, as dietitians, I tend to recommend eating more whole grains in your regular diet, and so whole wheat pasta can be a great option. Of course, that's going to have more fiber, has a little bit more protein. When you think whole wheat or whole grain, think the whole package. So you've got all of the parts of the kernel of the grain that provide more nutrition.
And all of this you will find at your local Food City. You know the one that is closest to you. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Ascension Living provides services and amenities to our residents.
It's such a close-knit group. It's so much like family.
Why wouldn't you want to live here?